Hi, I'm Tony Stefani with Hillside Christmas Tree Farm. Today I want to take you through how we make some of the signs that are around the farm and just kind of directional signs. These ones in particular are for our photographers that we're going to be inviting to do their holiday mini sessions, and we have 3 different locations. So I wanted to make some signs and arrows to kind of guide them and their clients to the different areas where their sessions are going to be held. So let's get into it. Step 1 is to kind of decide on how big the piece of wood that you're going to need for your sign. So what I do is I use these I think 4-inch stencils. I have some bigger and smaller ones for other signs that I've made, but so I've kind of broken them into 3 locations. So say location, so we'll spell it out together. We'll see and the length of this sign would have to be about 26 inches. So a normal piece of wood is, I'm using a Luan, a 4x8 sheet, is 4 feet by 8 feet. So if we can get that into a 2-foot section, that would give us a nice even cut. So one thing we can do is kind of change our spacing of our stencil. So if we line up kind of the edge with the end of a letter, I bet you we can squeeze out a little bit more. C, A, T, I, N. And now that sign is, where this wood needed, about 22 inches. So 24 would be perfect, kind of give us a little border. So now we'll take our piece of wood, we'll cut it 2 feet by, we're going to have a number below. So say 3, a little bit of spacing. So if we did by 24 by 16, I think that'll be a good size. And next we'll cut the wood. So I got all the wood cut, and I painted them. I painted the back white, and then we'll use red letters. It's really good contrast, so they really stand out when they're coming up from afar. So next thing we want to do is kind of find the center line. So 2 feet, 1 foot. And now we kind of stencil in our pieces. I think the center was A. This is the tricky part, is kind of starting from the middle of the word and working out. So I've actually spelled words wrong before, just because you kind of get into different routine. We're just lining up the top of the stencil to the top of the wood, which makes it easy that way. So there it is. Now we just trace. So now our tracing's done, and we can, paint the red inside the letters. So in our signs, we also have, we use arrows, and because we don't always know the direction that these signs are going to point, we drill holes in our arrows, and then we can kind of rotate them in different ways to kind of point the direction they have to go. So we take a wood, we just cut a little triangle, drill a hole in it, and then we'll paint these red too. So these are going to go real quick. Just get our paint. Alright, so we got all the signs painted. Now we made little arrows right, that have holes in them, and we're going to measure. We're going to drill a hole inside the sign, and we'll be able to rotate the arrow around to kind of guide people around where they have to go. So we have the bolts are all here. Oh, didn't cut the holes big enough, so. There we go. So maybe we'll drill the holes maybe a couple at a time because we don't want to get too far off center.
The other ones you did a little bit ago?
Yeah. So then we pick a better side for the arrow. So we got our hole drilled, we put the bolt in, and then the nut. And now we can tell by location 1 is this way, or it's up that way, or it's back this way. Pretty easy to tell. We have a good white on against red, which is a really good contrast. So let me get a 2x2 and we'll put it in the ground. We have just a 2x2 painted white. I cut the end on a pretty hard angle so we can drive it on the ground. The other end has a flat so we can use a hammer. And then we line up the edge. I found that using some fender washers when you're securing these signs down kind of helps when you're pounding it in the ground, doesn't break as easy. Easy enough to paint them white if you really want to. Just going to give it some added reinforcement. Alright, let's take it outside, we'll stick it in the ground, see what it looks like. Alright, so we'll take the sign, we'll pound it in the ground. Then depending on the direction, we can point the arrow where it needs to be. And we can tell it's pretty easy to see when you're driving. These signs are meant for when people are in the car. They can see which way they need to go. So on the farm we made a lot of signs like these, kind of the tree field locations when we allow people to drive. So being able to guide them and tell them where they have to go is very important. And then also important is how to get back. So we have a lot of exit signs with a lot of exit arrows, kind of just guiding them back to the tree processing area once they've cut their tree. So I think it's a pretty simple, pretty cheap way of doing this. Stencils are a good way to be real consistent with your lettering. Again, I have, I think, 3 different sets for different sizes. So I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.